do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe. And also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Welcome to Skiba News Nation, bringing you unfiltered views, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Skiba, award-winning musician and son of Rob Skiba.
With the son of the legendary Rob Skiba, Jeremiah Skiba, what's up?
With my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Graham. It's like I don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.
Something huge is coming. We're building the world's largest truther convention. It's called TrutherCon.
This is the place where truthers unite to explore knowledge, ask tough questions, to challenge the mainstream narrative.
But it isn't just a convention. It's a movement for free thought, open discussion, and the right to question everything.
We are bringing in some of the biggest names of the truther community, so expect deep discussions, mind-blowing revelations, and connections with like-minded truth seekers.
If you feel like the truth is being hidden from you, this is where you need to be.
And the best part, it's 100% grassroots, built by truthers for truthers, straight from our Skiba News Nation family. TrutherCon will be a massive networking event. I believe this is going to be the most exciting truther event ever.
October 2025 in Dallas, Texas. We hope to see you there. Hey Skiba News Nation family, welcome to episode 130 of Skiba News Nation, your weekly source of the latest news, controversial topics, conspiracies, forgotten history, and so much more. I'm your host Jeremiah Skiba, and before we get started, I just want to say I want to congratulate Jake on his new baby girl, and that's amazing, and I'm so happy for you and Sierra. But also, we have a big announcement about TrutherCon. Bryson Gray has now confirmed that he will be at TrutherCon, so get your tickets now before the early bird special ends and prices go up. So as always, here's my co-host Jake Grant, and let's get started with the current news.
Well, hey guys, what's up? I have some good news. We had a beautiful baby girl. Yeah, so the waiting is finally over. Thank you everybody for your prayers. We thought we were overdue, but I think we were just on time. Anyways, this week we got some really interesting news clips and different things that I found interesting during the week. Hope you guys enjoy. Check out this first clip. Two boats launching fireworks caught fire in Japan on Monday during a summer festival in Yokohama, located south of Tokyo. Pretty crazy scene here as all of the fireworks on the boat go off at once. All right, viewer discretion. Of course, a lot of people recently lost their lives in a mud flood in a village in India. Guard your ears, because the people that saw it coming were warning with some pretty ear-piercing whistles. But pretty crazy. Just this whole town was just wiped off the map. Now, in recent weeks, we've covered the backpedaling on the Epstein files. They've kind of backpedaled on it, and everybody's double downing. And then we have hilarious songs like this coming to the forefront of American culture. Check this out.
In a sleazy kind of way. Those Epstein files gonna bite your butt, and it ain't gonna go away.
Wow, considering the current political climate, why am I surprised? So to fight the system, liberals have taken up folk. All right, check out this next clip, which is some interviews that have been done with Hunter Biden as of late.
Epstein?
No. Nobody does. I mean, really, except for all of a sudden Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. Nobody thinks it was. Yeah. Is that you have that renowned doctor, a coroner, that did the, what's it called?
Post-mortem autopsy.
Yeah, the post-mortem autopsy.
I don't know if that's what it's called.
Who talks about all the different, the different fractures in his neck and how it was impossible that he could have done that.
You can't
by simply leaning
by
forward.
strangling yourself.
What?
You can't commit suicide.
Exactly. And
You
he
can't
says,
strangle yourself to death, even if you hate life.
yes, exactly. That literally is an impossibility in a fiction. And there's this idea that what he did is like he leaned forward. Well, none of it matches up. There's that guy that just testified not testified. He was interviewed that was in the cell next to Jeffrey Epstein's. And he said it's just absolutely impossible that he would have been able to do that. Now you have the tape that comes out. And it's not just 1 minute missing from the tape. It's actually 3 minutes from the tape has been overwritten.
Well, you know that's standard protocol at the most secure facility in the country.
Well, that just yeah. I mean, it's and just that alone, you have someone that everyone absolutely knows that if anything happens to him you're going to be accused of a gigantic cover-up, and he dies, and the guy that is his co-conspirator in France, what's his name? He just happens to commit or died in mysterious ways in prison, and the woman who living in Australia, she commits suicide just before that. I mean, look again. I'm feeding into the conspiracy, but clearly, I mean, who believes that he killed himself?
No one.
Nobody.
Do you?
Found this interesting. Cardiologists at a New York hospital say we need to expand the definition of death so more organs can be donated. So apparently it's 3 cardiologists, and they argue for expanding the legal and medical definition of brain death to include patients who have permanently lost higher brain functions like consciousness, memory, intention. Aren't you unconscious when you're like in a coma or sleeping? Anyways, I thought this was interesting considering the connection with previous organ harvesting controversy that we talked about uncovered in Kentucky recently. Once again, saying up to 40% of vegetative state diagnoses are incorrect, and 15% of comatose patients show covert consciousness via advanced testing. So, some doctors want your organs. Here's one I found interesting. Mother whose son recently died while subway surfing is suing social media companies for introducing it to him through their algorithms. Now, fascinating, because we know that when court precedence is set for certain things, it can lead to other things. And this is what it would take to kind of put the carrot in front of a judge's nose to get the ball rolling when it comes to legislating thought police. By the way, Elon Musk is introducing a new AI companion named Valentine as part of his Grok chatbox on X. Unlike typical chatbots, Valentine is designed with a distinct personality and charm, aiming for deeper, more engaging interactions. The interesting part is the post he just made on X. Introducing this new AI is a recreation of Lucifer from Netflix, right? Isn't it obvious by now that Elon Musk, has some agendas, right? Serving Satan and Saturn. He even said, with artificial intelligence, we're summoning the demon. And now he's created the demon and named it Lucifer. The evening of this premiere, there's supposed to be an aurora, some type of sun burp heading for Earth, which they associate with up to moderate possible northern lights viewing potential, reaching all the way down to Missouri and Kentucky. Hopefully, people who are in these northern latitudes will get to see it. It's pretty cool. I know it got really far south just last year, almost record-breaking, so I'm always interested in stuff like this. Back to that whole topic of the woman suing for her son being convinced by social media to go surf a train. Here's a billboard thing in Britain, a little pamphlet, controlled thought zone. Are you having arrestable thoughts? Thought monitoring technology has been installed in this area. Prohibited thoughts are punishable by the court of law. Now, this is obviously not real right now. This is just kind of like a future projection. But I think that's what the concern is with AI and Neuralink and all of the different social media kind of adjustments in terms of freedom of speech people have. Just, yep, cool. Hopefully this is not our near future. I finally realized that people are prisoners of their phones. That's why they're called cell phones. Oh, yeah. Prisoners of the phones, and it's also what's raising a lot of this generation. Some interesting research has shown screen time in toddlers is being linked to impaired white matter growth and language delays. This was a study published in JAMA Pediatrics, and it makes me think of that little-known bit of information that certain producers of cell phones wouldn't let their children have a tablet until they were much older. This cool clip recently came out of a bald eagle seemingly turning into a jet airplane. Check out this footage of twin solar thermal towers in China, which use molten salt to store heat to produce electricity. It does look like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But this is the kind of energy generation that our modern computing power is going to require. Some type of sci-fi nuclear power. Yeah, Jeremiah made an Ozempic gaunt face joke during our live stream, and I thought it was really interesting that people are using something that is derived from the saliva of the Gila monster lizard, a venomous lizard native to southwestern United States and Mexico. In the 1980s, scientists discovered that the Gila monster's saliva contains a protein called exadin-4. Exadin-4 is similar to a hormone called glucagon-like peptide 1, GLP-1, that is produced by the human body. GLP-1 helps regulate blood sugar levels and appetite. So that's why all the Hollywood stars have this gaunt, starved look right now. If it's not that other conspiracy I talked about in our live stream, which you'll have to go back and review. Saw this new clip from Sunday Cool Teas, and apparently there was another Neuralink startup before Elon Musk's.
Do you know there's another Neuralink competitor in the United States? They started before Elon Musk. They're called Synchron, and it is funded by Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. This brain chip, you can text with it, use email, shop online, scroll on social media, all hands-free, just through thought alone.
Well, that's dangerous.
And guess how it's put into you? An injection through your jugular.
Ew.
They're not cutting your head open. It's an injection.
Is there an actual physical chip?
It's like microchips that go into your bloodstream that like live in your brain.
That
You're
sounds
able
painful.
to literally control electric devices just by thought. An injection.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, you want to come in and get this brain chip? We have to split your head open.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, they can sneak this in through anything.
Global pandemic.
What about Bill Gates and Amazon? Dude, that's such bad news.
And I've never heard of this company in my life. This might be a stretch, but you do think of like the mark of the beast. It says free or slave, rich or poor. You cannot buy or sell. You have to have this mark in order to do this. Mark of the beast. And it said it'll be in the right hand or the forehead. And I'm just thinking the forehead. Is it referring to like it's going to be like in your brain?
Dude, what world are we living in?
China and Russia now are carrying out military drills with a Chinese submarine, this for the first time.
President Trump issuing new warnings to Russia and repositioning 2 U.S. nuclear submarines after what he calls highly provocative statements by Russia's former president. Meantime, President Trump has given Vladimir Putin just 1 more week to negotiate peace with Ukraine or face tough new sanctions.
Taiwan's deputy foreign minister believes China is ready to invade and is concerned it may not be possible for the small island nation to be ready for an attack. His concern follows a year of increased drills and incursions by China, raising questions as to whether Donald Trump and the United States would come to Taiwan's aid.
His words reflect a new urgency here. These waters now host to new standoffs. Taiwan has long been seen by China as a breakaway province. Military drills and grey zone incursions, more evidence that it is now advancing. And at the heart of this government, there is now open recognition of what it all means.
The population needed not to be naive like the past. That's thinking that, oh no, China will not invade. It will not invade Taiwan. No, it's not true. China is preparing to invade Taiwan.
If an attack came, is Taiwan ready? Is Taiwan prepared enough?
Taiwan alone, face on China, we will never be ready. It's not possible.
A frank admission in a place facing critical questions about readiness and support.
People here have long learned to coexist with the threat from China, and many are just getting on with their lives. But it does feel like something has shifted. Not only does the threat feel more immediate than it has for decades, but key alliances that this island would need in the event of an attack now feel shrouded in a greater sense of uncertainty.
Gliding into Brisbane's port, one of the largest submarines in US Navy history, the USS Ohio, weighing more than 16,000 tonnes, worth more than $3 billion.
A routine deployment, but an opportunity to pull into Brisbane and strengthen our alliance and our friendships with the Australian Royal Defence military.
That's China and Russia. They carried out these military drills in the Sea of Japan in a show of a stronger partnership. Rescue, joint anti-submarine, air defense, and anti-missile operations and maritime combat component. President Trump confirming that there's these 2 American nuclear subs that were deployed in that region as these drills had ramped up ahead of Steve Witkoff's visit to Russia this week. Here's the president.
On Russia, Mr. President, can you say, have those nuclear submarines been deployed yet to face Russia?
I've already put out a statement, and the answer is they are in the region, yeah, where they have to be.
Can you say what Steve Witkoff's message will be to the Russians? Is there anything they can do to avoid sanctions at this point?
Yeah, get a deal where people stop getting killed. They had a number that just came out that a tremendous number of Russian soldiers are being killed. And likewise, Ukraine, a lower number, but still thousands and thousands of people. And now we're adding towns where they're being hit by missiles. So it's a lot of people being killed in that ridiculous war.
Tonight, in a rare and extraordinary warning to Russia, President Trump ordering 2 U.S. nuclear submarines to the region.
All right, guys, that's all the news for this week. Have a great week, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Thank you, Jake, for another great current news as always. And now a quick look at my new book, Charlie's Big Adventures Around the World or Not.
Something in the mail today. Can I open it up? See what it is. Look at that. Charlie, look at this. Look. It's you. Charlie's Big Adventures Around the World. We're gonna flip through it. Look at all that. Look at those things.
There they are.
Two Danish boys.
So now if you guys buy this in our Babylon Rising bookstore, you get a free signed copy for the same price. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you guys want a special edition of the book, go there.
Check out our new and improved BabylonRisingBooks.com, where you can get Rob Skiba's books, bundles, DVDs, DVD-ROMs, videos, and so much more. You can even get Sheila and Jeremiah's books, so check it out now.
It's about that time for an all-new Oppa's Corner. Take it away, Oppa.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
The strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to believe it or not.
Believe it or not, you.
Wally, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Believe it!
You're a loony.
With sharp, retractable claws, powerful night vision, and stealthy hunting skills, cats are considered evolutionary masterpieces. Super Charlie. Believe it or not. The human brain is about 60% fat, making it one of the fattiest organs in the body. Believe it or not. A Swiss study shows the human brain uses just 12 watts of power, while AI needs up to 2.7 billion watts of power to mimic it. Believe it or not. By 2035, Google plans to source energy from 6 or 7 nuclear reactors to power its growing AI infrastructure with low-carbon energy. Believe it or not. On June 8, 1959, the U.S. Postal Service successfully delivered mail via a missile. Believe it or not. New Zealand-based pizzeria Hell Pizza launched Afterlife Pay in 2023, allowing customers to amend their wills and pay for their food after they die. Believe it or not. The toxic copper-based makeup used on the Wicked Witch of the West actress Margaret Hamilton in The Wizard of Oz stained her face green for weeks. Believe it or not. Dog bites increase after earthquakes and hurricanes. Believe it or not. In 2013, computer engineer James Howells accidentally threw away 8,000 bitcoins. The hard drive, currently under a mountain of trash in a Welsh landfill, is now worth in excess of $750 million. Believe it or not. While filming Rocky IV, Sylvester Stallone asked Dolph Lundgren to hit him for real. Stallone ended up in the hospital for 9 days. Believe it or not. Although he was left-handed, Jimi Hendrix played a right-handed guitar.
That's Phil Spector behind
upside
him.
down with the string order reversed. Believe it or not. The first telephone book in the U.S. was issued on February 21st, 1878 in New Haven, Connecticut, and featured only 50 names. Believe it or not. A stained, cigarette-burned cardigan worn by Kurt Cobain for Nirvana's MTV Unplugged performance in 1998, and never washed since, sold at an auction in New York in 2019 for $334,000.
I would have paid more.
I'm up. I'm up. Believe it or not. Traffic in Moscow is so bad that wealthy Russians sometimes hire fake ambulances to beat the jams. Believe it or not. British-born Dominic Johnson Hill, owner of a souvenir shop in Beijing, China, sells cans of polluted Beijing city air to tourists for $4 each. Could be your last breath. Believe it or not.
Or a fart.
Warning. The content of the following videos have not been verified by Opa's Corner. Viewer discretion advised.
30 short proofs that the Earth is flat. Follow if you're curious why people believe in it. Look at how sun rays break through the clouds. See the angles? They spread out in different directions. That suggests the sun is not as far from the clouds as we're told. If the sun were 93 million miles away, the rays would appear parallel. Airplanes always fly straight. On a globe, they'd have to constantly tilt downward, otherwise they'd drift into space. Water always levels itself. If we were on a sphere, oceans would be in constant chaos, but they're calm. There's a huge difference in temperature between the equator and the poles. On a flat Earth, the sun circles above the equator, which would explain the heat. If the sun were really that far away, the temperature difference wouldn't be so extreme. The temperatures on other planets also seem strange. For example, Mercury is colder than Venus, even though it's closer to the sun. The horizon looks flat at any altitude, no fisheye lens. You can see this from high-altitude balloons. Ships can see lighthouses from very far away. On a curved Earth, this shouldn't be possible. Some flight paths don't make sense on a globe, but they look much more logical on a flat Earth map. Like Sydney to Johannesburg. Especially when crossing the Pacific, wouldn't it be easier to fly straight across? And look at how flights avoid Antarctica. Strange, right? It looks like they're hiding something, but these routes make sense on a flat map. We see full moons in the day, even when Earth is supposedly between the sun and moon. That's not how shadows work. Why is the sun so bright during the day? If other stars were even brighter and bigger, shouldn't the night sky be just as bright? They say the planet spins at 1,000 miles per hour, plus the sun moves, plus the galaxies spin. That adds up to insane speeds. Yet we feel nothing. Wouldn't there be chaos? Planes shouldn't fly the way they do. They'd either reach too fast or miss their destinations. Weather doesn't seem affected by gravity. If Earth spun that fast, weather would be completely unstable. Bullets shot straight up land only a few hundred meters away. With rotation, they should land far off, even kilometers away. With that kind of spinning, water should fly off into space. Just watch how water behaves on a spinning tennis ball. Imagine we're in a vacuum, like they say. Look what vacuum does to sealed tanks. If Earth were in space, wouldn't it collapse too? Lasers shot over long distances stay level, they don't curve. Terrain may affect the result, but not Earth's curvature. Star positions haven't changed in hundreds of years. There's no visible parallax. Constellations stay the same. At the North Pole, Polaris always stays in the same place, and stars rotate around it. Strange if the universe is expanding. NASA talks about planets in other galaxies, but we don't see a single space station in real footage. When building long railways, even over 13,000 kilometers, they don't account for any curvature. If Earth were a globe, canals would curve and water would flow off somewhere. But canals like the Suez look flat and motionless. Gravity? Have you ever seen actual, direct proof of it? Ask AI sometimes, it even gives flat Earth info. Try it yourself. Many proofs for the globe are questionable, like in Antarctica, where shadows shift in seconds. Edited images of the globe. Pause and look, something feels off. CGI is used in every globe Earth video. Radio signals often reach far beyond the horizon past where they should be blocked by curvature. Time zones don't align well with a rotating globe. Neighboring regions with the same sun position often have very different local times, which fits better with a man-made system for a flat map. And finally, more and more people believe the Earth is flat. Why do you think that is? Because it's nonsense? Or because it's the only idea that makes sense?
Do you want to know why when you flip globe over, it says not for educational use, but decorative purposes only? It's because not only would you never get to where you're going, but if you did, you would add miles upon miles upon miles on your trip. I want you to look at the CBS American School of Air map used in 1943 for flight school. And I want you to look at this. Here is a scale. People always say, where's your flat Earth map with a scale? Well, here it is. Not only does it have a scale, but it has this funny looking white border with all this outlined mapped terrain. What could that be? What could that be, I wonder? Not that continent at the bottom of the globe, something else that surrounds it. Now I want you to look at this map, and I want you to look at New York, and I want you to look at the path you would take
This
from
guy
New York
tried to say my dad was still
to
alive.
Moscow. Okay, let's take a closer look. New York to Moscow. How's that going to look on this map? Let's draw a line right straight across. And notice how it's going to cut through Greenland. Now let's look at what the flight path they show us actually looks like. So when you pull up the actual flight path, this is what it looks like. They make it so it arcs up to Greenland and then down to Moscow. And notice the distance is actually shorter on their curved line compared to this one if you were to just go straight from New York to Moscow. Why would that be longer? Think about that. Again, on the flat Earth map. That's an actual map that flight schools used to use. Right through Greenland, and I want to show you why their straight line is actually a longer distance. Because this is what their straight line actually is on a real map. The map pilots use, the flat Earth map. It adds distance because you go curve away from it to come back versus going straight across. Now I just want to give you another example of how their curved flight paths from LA to Japan, why would we do that? I'll show you. Because on the flat Earth map, LA to Japan is actually an exactly straight line. You just fly across. And I want you to notice, where do they cut through? Alaska and just on the edge of Russia here. Let's go back and look. Look again. LA through Alaska, just to the tip across Russia and down to Japan. Now is it making sense? Oh, and if you don't believe me, maybe you'll take these guys' word for it.
How long are you going to pilot for?
43 years.
Wow. What shape is the planet?
Flat.
Did you notice any curvature while we were up there?
Curvature? No.
No? There's no curvature?
It's just all flat.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I've been flying.
Yeah.
I've come to the conclusion
Yeah.
there is no curvature. I never allow for curvature. There's no way there's curvature. We're round and flat, aren't we?
Definitely.
We are, aren't we?
Flat as
Thank you.
Flat as a pancake.
We're so, and the outer ring is south.
Yeah.
And so north must be in the middle, correct?
Possibly.
That
Yeah.
would be the only way that a
Yeah.
magnetic compass would work on a flat plane.
You might be on something there.
Yeah, but you're not having me on.
No,
We're round and flat, aren't
Flat
we?
as a pancake, mate. Yeah.
Thank you, man. You made my day.
So again, this is on there because it has to be. Otherwise, everyone would be getting lost. Everyone. And the next time someone says, show me a flat earth map with scale and a key, take them to the CBS American School of Air Map and show them this. Say, here you go. But as always, I know this is just a fake map from 1940s. They did these things to be funny. There was no point of this, and all this terrain out here, that's really just Antarctica at the bottom that they just stretched out in a circle for funsies. All for entertainment purposes, of course. Have a good day.
Rainbows are undeniable proof that we are under a firmament. So you probably always wonder why a rainbow is in the shape of a dome, why it's always arched. Now science will tell you that a rainbow is caused when sunlight enters a water droplet, bends, reflects, and comes out as a visible spectrum. Now while that's true for the most part, what they're not telling you is that the raindrops are only there to act as a screen, to capture what's being projected. In order to fully grasp what a rainbow is, you first need to understand refraction. I know we've all seen this image before. Refraction is the bending of light as it transports from one transparent medium, like glass, into another. So here we have a white light hitting a glass prism and turning into a straight rainbow. But notice, we have never seen a straight rainbow. We've never seen a rainbow that forms right angles or one that goes straight up or straight down. It's always in the shape of a dome. And the funny thing is, to actually create a rainbow indoors, you need a mirror. You need a prism. But not just any mirror, you need a mirror submerged in water. Now since our mirror here is flat, our rainbow, which is reflecting the water, or mist, is going to be a straight flat rainbow. So understand, the rainbow is always going to take shape of the medium it's being reflected off of. So what is the medium being reflected outside? Our glass firmament, the glass dome. It's really that simple. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong and as a molten looking glass. Just as creating a rainbow indoors requires a mirror submerged in water, Genesis tells us that there are waters above our firmament. God made the firmament, which divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above it. And it was so. These are the very same waters that were released to flood the earth during the days of Noah. There's even several mentions in scripture of floodgates that God opens up from above to reset the earth. And you'll find the firmament and the same flood story in the Quran, the Vedas, and countless other cultures. So who's really being heretical here? Now, take it a step further, look at this rainbow above an ocean. Notice how the colors are inverted in the ocean below from the original rainbow. The colors are in the opposite order. Well, obviously it's because the water is mirroring the rainbow, right? Now look at this double rainbow. What do you see? The second rainbow is just a reflection from the glass firmament above. The ocean below and the firmament above are both acting as mirrors, as above, so below. And it only gets weirder, folks. You know what else is strange? The more north you go, the higher a rainbow arcs. For example, here's a rainbow in Alaska. Notice how high that is. Go just a few hundred miles south and it gets lower in Canada. And you go much further out to Australia and here's what they start looking like. Then, if you look for rainbows in Antarctica, at least through photos, thanks to the Nature Channel, since none of us are apparently allowed to go out there unless we're willing to spend thousands of dollars for a guided tour to visit an ice shelf. But look how flat that rainbow is. Just as the firmament's elevation changes the further you go out south, the rainbows you see also reflect that altitude. Look, the firmament is very real. Look into Operation Dominic, Operation Fishbowl, Deep Freeze, all those military expeditions in the 1900s that you were never taught about in school. This is not news to your beloved government, folks. Once you start putting the Creator's words to the test, all the lies we've been taught begin to fall apart. The earth is fixed and immovable. There are ends to the earth. There is water above and below, and the firmament is placed to divide them.
Bob retired from the cloning lab, and now he doesn't know what to do with himself. No one can deny Mr. Chang had the best Chinese restaurant in the city.
That's messed up. Like that one.
This is Mission Control. No, you can't take off your spacesuit. Why do you ask? Nightmare on Maple Street. And these vampires don't just drink your blood on the spot. Oh no, they drain it into buckets and take it home to eat with waffles. Yum, waffles. Animal Samaritans. Well, you're headed the wrong way. The road's back that way. And you kids be careful. The woods are full of hungry bears tonight. Just organizing them wasn't feeding my creative side. Plumber school. Okay, you just replaced the toilet valve. You tell your customer, I'm blank with excitement. A, filled. B, soaked. C, flush. D, coated. As Harriet turned the page, a scream escaped her lips. There was Donald, his strange disappearance no longer a mystery. Aha! I just got a text from you wondering if I noticed you left the coffee shop an hour ago. Blast! This clinches it. If we ever find it again, I'm going to bolt the sucker on. And pull up your cup sleeve, young man. Your master is out of the house. You should be rooting through the trash. Eh, he's got a point.
My grandma does that too.
Last of the Mohicans. Little Beaver, ready, go. Where is everyone? Okay, the joke's over. Do not go outside. TJ's contracting. What's the deal? You were supposed to have died 3 weeks ago. And now, if you would like to repeat your vowels. A, E, I, O, U. I hope you checked to be sure none of the eggs were cracked when you were in the store. Last time you came home with 3 broken ones. Cheep, cheep. Get back in the house right now. You only have 2 lives left. Alien corner cafes, where sometimes dreams do come true. Exori's Place. Say, that's the face I'm looking for. How'd you like to be in the movies, hon? The chef sent this complimentary appetizer called Trouvé sur le plein air. It means found on the floor. Don't eat that. It has nuts in it.
That's true.
Well, you got quite an infestation here, ma'am. I can't promise anything, but I imagine I can knock out some of the bigger nests.
Hey, this reminds me of camp when I was a kid. I won't bore you with all the stories. Well, okay. There was this one time.
Jurassic calendars. Kill something and eat it. Kill something and eat it. Kill something and eat it. How long before the guy from Extreme Adventure Picnics is supposed to come back to get us? When you say you feel trapped, do you mean emotionally? Student driver.
The hardest part about driving is resisting the urge to stick your head out the window.
Don't beat yourself up, Pam. That's Philip. It takes something very special to turn his head.
The tour book was right. This is one of the most unique snorkeling spots.
Dogs who bought that also bought these. She's right. It does look like my teeth marks. Becoming a vegetarian is a big mistake. Wow, Lego sure is making them look real. And that concludes another Opa's Corner. Opa's Corner is now available on my own YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe.
Opa, that was a great Opa's Corner. I love the fact that during the funnies, I could hear your dog, Roxy, snoring the whole time. That was funny, because the dog, you know, funnies, and then your dog, that's just funny. But I appreciate it. And thank you to the fans of Opa's Corner that submit these amazing videos of them playing Opa's theme song. And if you guys want to submit, you can do so at submit@skibanewsnation.com, and we'd be happy to add it to Opa's Corner. So thank you, Opa. Now a word from our good friend Kristen. I want to introduce you guys to somebody named Kristen, who's one of the biggest forces behind Skiba News Nation. This is Kristen. She helps us get all the big guests. I understand that you're doing this full time now. So how can people find out how to use your service?
Well, I started Fellow Helper Agency, and you can go to fellowhelperagency.com. And I do any of the behind the scenes, email, getting the interviews, and I do prep work for the shows as well. I do timestamps and moderating.
She is the best with connects. If you like any of our shows, any of our big guests, she's the person to go to. And if you have a channel, definitely go to our website. So go check out fellowhelperagency.com. All right, it's time for an all new History's Mysteries. Now this week's History's Mysteries kind of breaks my heart because we're going to be talking about the rise and fall of an empire. And that empire is Disney. And, you know, Disney has a soft spot in my heart because it, you know, my childhood was Disney. Like, I wanted to be Peter Pan, you know, but obviously I knew that I wasn't. This whole story is about how Disney, you know, would fall off and then they'd bounce back and then they'd fall off and bounce back. But it looks like they've fallen off. And I don't think there's any coming back, so let's all get on the same page and play this first clip.
Over the last 10 years, the world has watched Disney turn one beloved studio after another into creative batteries, sucking all of their pre-existing franchises dry.
Baby Groot will star in a series of shorts on Disney+.
This is our latest effort in making robots that we think can have an emotional connection with our guests.
And while this may have worked for a while, today, the internet is coming after them.
Thank you so much, and let's give another big round of applause.
Disney Plus is losing millions of subscribers, and it feels like people are getting tired of non-stop sequels, spin-offs, and remakes.
That people say superhero fatigue. I actually think it's almost the feeling of having to do homework fatigue.
Disney's panicking, trying their best to reverse the damage. The funny part is, they've just ended up back where they started all this almost 20 years ago. It's 1986, and Steve Jobs, freshly ousted from Apple, buys Pixar, who at that time is just the computer graphics division at Lucasfilm, for $10 million. At the time, Pixar's focused on building hardware for 3D animation, but Steve shifts the mission to storytelling. And he's got the dream team. There's Ed Catmull, creator of this what is that? Hand, and John Lasseter, an animator that was just fired from Disney. But you know what? That's fine, because they all have the same passion for the future of animation.
We don't look at it as a way to replace any of the creativity or any of the real art of filmmaking. We look at it as these are just great new expensive pencils.
Together they changed the entire animation industry, creating the first ever full 3D animated short film, Tin Toy. And it's absolutely terrifying. But it wins them an Oscar and gives them enough confidence to take the next step. The first full 3D animated feature film. The only problem is, they need more money. Meanwhile, Disney is struggling. Their animated films are flopping, which isn't good considering animated films are the backbone of the company. CEO Michael Eisner sees an opportunity and strikes a deal with Steve Jobs. Disney pays the production costs and gets the rights to all the characters in the movie. Pixar makes the movie and receives 12.5% of the box office revenue. Also, if things go well, Disney can contract Pixar to make 2 more movies for them. Steve agrees to the terms, but John Lasseter, being a former Disney employee, has a few small reservations. In regards to giving Disney control over the characters, he says, "It's like you have these dear children, and you have to give them up to be adopted by convicted molesters." Nevertheless, he gives in, and Toy Story breaks all expectations.
Have him smile on the other side as well. It's so precise.
This is Buzz. He gets dirtier throughout the film.
They go on to make A Bug's Life and Toy Story 2. Now, after giving Disney 3 of the most successful movies of all time, Disney reluctantly renegotiates. You see, while Disney originally saw Pixar as a risk, their newfound success has turned them into a bit of a threat.
Animation at a high level of perfection is not economically feasible anymore. Like in the heydays of Disney, where there were thousands of artists that you could hire very cheaply, that was wonderful. Maybe not for the artists, but for Disney. And now it's the only way to do it is going to be with a computer. So it'd be nice to get rid of all that trashy animation and get back to some, Fantasia quality stuff.
They managed to get through a few more years together. But even as Pixar's movies soar past everything Disney Animation puts out, it's clear Michael Eisner still thinks Disney would be better off making Pixar movies without Pixar. And by 2005, the partnership is on its last legs. And so is Disney. In fact, the situation is so bad that Roy Disney, nephew of Walt Disney, starts campaigning to investors for Michael Eisner's removal.
Hi, I'm Roy Disney. I've become concerned with the direction in which the Disney company is moving. If you're a Disney shareholder, in my view, the best way to help save Disney is to vote no on the re-election of Michael Eisner.
And in 2005, it finally happens.
From the day I started in 1965, that it's like a manager of a baseball team. And managers of a baseball team have a couple bad seasons and they get fired. And it's not a shameful thing.
That's what losing sounds like.
Michael Eisner is forced out, and Bob Iger steps in as Disney's new CEO.
Well, I think it's likely that Disney movies will be made in India as Bollywood movies by Bollywood talent. We had a lot of success with Pixar, basically a joint venture with them. That was ending, and Steve Jobs, in a very, very kind of in-your-face manner, told us publicly that the Pixar relationship with Disney would end.
Unlike Eisner, Bob Iger doesn't think Disney can survive on their own, so he makes a call to Steve Jobs.
I felt that I had to address Disney animation, that it needed huge improvement. And I thought the fastest way to accomplish that, albeit the riskiest and the most expensive, was to buy Pixar.
In 2006, they officially acquired Pixar and promised creative freedom. Many observers say the real value in this deal isn't Disney buying Pixar, it's Pixar taking over Disney animation.
Scaring children. For me, that's a very, very poignant moment in the film.
With his plan working absolute miracles, Bob teaches the rest of the Disney executives a powerful lesson. Why nurture creativity from within when you can just buy it?
And the Oscar goes to Finding Nemo. And
for a while, it works.
Bob Iger is charming and powerful. The guy that's having lunch with Oprah at the Polo Lounge. He's kind of embodied that kind of Hollywood swagger.
In 2009, Bob begins his legendary shopping spree.
So after the exit of Michael Eisner, who I very much liked as a kid, I thought he did a lot of great things for Disney. Actually, brought them back into the animation studio and, got them back on their feet. Disney decided to bring in Bob Iger, who in my opinion, this is not a popular opinion, but is the real life villain of the story. Bob made some big moves using Disney's money. He spent a lot to bring the company back to what it once was, and but I think it was too much, and that's what we're going to be learning in this next clip. So let's check this out.
Now let's see what Bob is buying with the business credit card. First, just to dip their toes in the water, they buy Marvel Studios for $4 billion.
Plan to use all of Disney's global distribution and marketing resources to extend and increase the popularity of the Marvel brand and its treasure trove of over 5,000 characters.
The studio recently blew the world away with Iron Man, despite being centered around what comic fans consider a C-list character, and starring an actor who at the time is blacklisted from Hollywood. It quickly becomes one of the most successful comic book movies of all time.
And I just you did a lot of research for this. You didn't have to do all that stuff.
No.
Why is that important to you?
Well, I mean, I'm so much of an individual. I believe that I'm a separatist in my thinking as a separate individual, not a separate as a group. If you realize you are an insignificant worm and anything good comes to you, you didn't bring it to yourself.
Yeah. Now, Rhodey is Tony Stark's most loyal, trusted friend. Do you have friends like that?
The best part? Apparently it's just the beginning.
You think you're the only superhero in the world? Mr. Stark, you become part of a bigger universe.
The president of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, has a vision for an on-screen Marvel comic book universe.
Right? These are all individual stories meant to be enjoyed as singular entities.
And with the rights to around 5,000 characters, if they make one movie for each character, that's around 5,000 movies. Potentially an infinite source of content, as long as they can figure out a new saga once this one ends. Once again, Bob promises creative independence. At first, fans don't know what to think. However, when the Avengers brings everything together in 2012, all their worries disappear.
You always dress up for these premieres?
I stopped after a couple bad incidents with Indiana Jones and Spider-Man 3, but...
The movie earns $1.5 billion in the worldwide box office, and the next year Iron Man 3 earns another $1 billion. Disney buying Marvel was the best thing that could have ever happened. They're giving Feige whatever budget he needs. Just like that, the Marvel formula becomes Hollywood's most coveted secret. Suddenly, everything is trying to be a cinematic universe, but all the attempts fail miserably. Needless to say, Star Wars fans are happy to hear they're going to get the Marvel treatment. You see, the same year the Avengers releases, George Lucas decides he's had enough. Being the guy who made Star Wars has taken its toll.
Today is my first day of writing
the new Star Wars series.
You know why I have money and you don't have money?
Okay.
It's because instead of spending my time doing autographs, I spent my time making movies.
Even though George considers the franchise his baby, around the 30-year mark there comes a time when you need to kick it out to survive on its own.
It'll be better for the universe, it'll be better for everybody. Yeah, but there's always this little part in you is saying, what am I doing?
Disney comes in and purchases Lucasfilm for another $4 billion. Not only do they get Star Wars, but also George Lucas's own outline for a Star Wars sequel trilogy, which Disney wants to get started right away.
Fans can expect a new feature film in theaters worldwide in 2015.
This time, fans are more excited.
Disney's doing fine with Marvel, so honestly, I don't see why they could screw up Star Wars.
They haven't gotten a movie from this franchise in nearly a decade, and suddenly, someone's come to rescue them. Kathleen Kennedy, longtime friend of George Lucas and newly appointed president of Lucasfilm.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
Her first move as president, tear up George's outline, throw it in the trash can, and hand everything over to J.J. Abrams.
Tears were streaming down her face. I thought, this is unbelievable. And I asked her to stop, gave her a couple adjustments, do it again, and she did it again, and I thought, oh my God.
You know, this is not like a series of books like Harry Potter, where you've already got a template of what the stories might be.
They decided they didn't want to use those stories. They decided they were going to go do their own thing, and so I decided, fine. They said, we want to make something for the fans. These are my kids. You know, I love them, I created them. I'm very intimately involved in them, and sell
you
them
sold
off them. I sold them to the white slavers that take these things and
2013 marks the start of Bob Iger's golden age. Marvel's still on fire. Pixar is releasing hits like WALL-E and Up. They even found time to revive Disney's animation studio, who just released one of the most profitable movies of all time, Frozen.
Now, a full year after Frozen's release, it's boosting all of the company's divisions.
I think it is a great testament to a strategy to focus on franchises and our great brands.
By 2015, Disney's formula seems unstoppable. Wall Street declares Bob Iger a genius, and Disney's stock soars 400%.
One of the great skills of Bob is being able to read what the market trends are going and make decisions on how to place big bets.
But beneath the surface, cracks are forming. For one, Pixar is currently stumbling. Steve Jobs died 8 years ago. John Lasseter leaves the company after some misconduct allegations.
Look who's there. That's Denise Ream. She hasn't been on camera yet today.
And Ed Catmull retires in 2019, meaning the original visionaries who built Pixar are gone. Original concepts take a back seat, and sequels take over the schedule.
But in the case of Toy Story, the third one is just magnificent. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. And if you've seen the other two, then it's devastating.
Is it a cartoon?
Yeah, well, it's a cartoon. But the thing is, then 3 years later or something, they did a fourth.
I knew it. You're trying to get Bonnie.
Trash?
No, toys. You literally ended the story as perfect as you could.
Pixar's mandate has clearly shifted from original at all costs to keep the franchises alive. Meanwhile, Marvel continues its ascent, building towards an unprecedented climax.
So they went and they bought all these things and they started just doing too much, and I agree with Quentin Tarantino and what he said right there. And you know, you ended the story so perfectly, why do you keep going and keep going? And so that's what we're going to be getting into, along with the woke stuff. And yeah, let's go ahead and play that clip.
We have always had a plan from the moment Nick Fury broke into Tony Stark's house and told him,
Stark, you become part of a bigger universe.
He just didn't know it yet.
You just don't know it.
Well, I think he knows it now, and by May 4th, 2018, everybody will know it because it is the beginning of the culmination of everything that has come before.
$2.7 billion worldwide, the culmination of 23 interconnected films. It's a genuine cultural phenomenon, but Disney doesn't see completion. After wrapping things up and putting a bow on the main storyline, the MCU, once meticulously planned by Feige, begins to sprawl beyond control.
Baby Groot will star in a series of shorts on Disney Plus featuring several new and unusual characters. Miss Marvel is a Pakistani-American teen superhero. Armor Wars, a classic Marvel story about Tony Stark's worst fear coming true. Pakistani-American teen superhero. So by now you should start getting a sense of the interconnectedness that infuses all of our stories.
Suddenly every movie takes place in some sort of multiverse.
Oh, I hate the multiverse too, by the way. I hate the multiverse.
Anyone involved with the movie can go, oh, well,
I got an eraser right here called the multiverse. Yeah, no, this person didn't die. No, what we told you about their powers was only true in universes, these universes, but not these universes. I'm like, it's.
But the state of the MCU is nothing compared to Star Wars.
Well, see, again, I mean, and I told Brian this, it's no surprise. I said, I just fundamentally disagree with your concept of this character.
Finally, in 2014, the moment fans have been waiting for, The Force Awakens trailer drops. Even with a $450 million budget, the trailer reveals basically nothing.
The dark side, the Jedi,
the Force.
Fans are still left speechless.
That put a tear in my eye. That moment was just super cool.
Sitting there going,
In 2015, George Lucas sees it and isn't a fan.
They wanted to do a retro movie. I don't like that. Every movie I work very hard to make them different. I make them completely different with, different planets, with different spaceships, with different, to make it new.
So are you at peace with this?
Yeah.
Avatar director James Cameron puts it like this.
I have to say that I felt that George's group of 6 films had more innovative visual imagination, and this film was more of a retrenchment to things you had seen before.
But after years of getting criticism for the prequel movies, he says the fans will love it. It's very much the kind of movie they've been looking for.
I very purposely wanted to sort of revisit the old in order to start and tell the new. And that was the challenge. And again, for those who hate it, I could not respect your opinion more.
The visuals are downright gorgeous, the cast is likable, and the mysteries leave everyone begging JJ to tell them what happens next. But it turns out, not even JJ knows that. And he abandons the movie before figuring it out.
In 7, you discovered Luke obviously is a hermit on this island, that there's so much unsaid about where he's been.
So they need to find someone else. They get the guy who directed Looper to come in. And after Disney's editing task force does their magic, fans get a first look.
There's a trailer. Of course there's a trailer. What are you doing?
Looks promising. But when people actually see it,
I cried more in this movie than any Star Wars movie ever before.
I don't even have one good thing to say about this.
I should not say any spoilers, but let me tell you that you will be mouth agape.
it creates a permanent rift in their fan base. Remember when Kathleen Kennedy said this?
The main thing is to protect these characters. Make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
Two of the main characters are dead, and pretty much everything established in the Star Wars universe so far is completely abandoned.
So Rian Johnson, you fucked up, bro! As the Sith Lord says, Order 66!
Even Mark Hamill, who plays Luke Skywalker, has gripes.
Mark, very understandably, wasn't thrilled about some of the choices in the script. The big things being that he's not the Luke Skywalker that we knew, and frankly the fact that he dies at the end.
I mean, it says right in the script, forget the past, kill it if you have to. You're doing a pretty good job.
I'm trying.
In fact, my first reaction was, can't we push this off until 9?
Fans of the movie applaud it for making bold choices. Finally someone taking risks with the franchise, but since any hopes for a cohesive vision are out the window anyway, they switch directors 2 more times, finally landing on JJ, who's there to fix the mess the first director made. And within just 18 months, him and his team managed to rewrite the entire script, shoot, edit, and finally they put out a trailer. To this day, experts still aren't sure what they're putting in these. But this time when the movie comes out, pretty much everyone, including the cast and crew, have the same reaction.
Don't use any words, okay? What was your reaction to the end of the movie? But don't use words, okay? Ready?
How does it end?
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so I might have been a little harsh when I said, you know, Bob Iger is the true villain, because in Star Wars case, the real villain is Kathleen Kennedy, and if you've seen the South Park episode making fun of her, making the Pandaverse, she says, put a chick in it and make it gay.
Is there a problem, people?
We were just discussing ideas of what to do with the new Prince Eric movie.
Put a chick in it, make her gay! Put a chick in it and make her name it gay! Put a diverse woman in it, make it gay!
Bambi's a baby deer.
Baby dear, put a chick in it, make her gay!
There you are, Miss Kennedy, the linguine and clam sauce.
Excuse me, I believe I asked you to put a chick in this and make her gay?
Yes, the chef was a little confused what you meant by that.
Means put a chick in the linguine and make her f***ing gay! And I want it lame! Where the f*** is Bob Iger?
Mr. Iger just had to take some of the others to a screening.
I think that things are being kept from me. And if you're going to keep things from me, then you'd better put a chick in it and make it gay.
And that's what she's known for. I mean, she wants to put a chick in everything and make it gay. So now we're going to be getting into the last clip, which, you know, I'm going to get Opa's opinions later, who's very pro-Disney. And I am going to show you why I believe Bob Iger is a villain, and he did some kind of sketchy stuff. So let's go ahead and play that clip.
In February 2020, Bob Iger makes a shocking announcement. After 15 years of acquiring studios, he feels like he's done his job and is stepping down, effective immediately. And Bob Chapek, formerly the head of Disney's theme parks, becomes the next Bob Iger.
With the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, we set a new standard for the most immersive storytelling.
Hey, you guys looking for me?
It's the spy we've been tracking.
Why now, and why is Bob Chapek the right person for the job?
Well, it's a great time to begin this transition.
What could possibly go wrong?
Heightened states of emergency across the nation as a number of coronavirus cases soars above 3,000.
I think the timing was unfortunate.
Suddenly they're back to square one. Bob restructures the entire company around Disney+. Fans are optimistic. Only now, investors are only looking at viewership and the size of your catalog. All the creative independence Bob Iger promised, gone. Pixar's relegated to streaming filler, with planned theatrical releases like Soul, Luca, and Turning Red getting sent straight to Disney+.
Disney's just going to skip the theaters with its movies. It's coming straight to a TV near you.
Then when they make their big theatrical return, it's a spin-off of Toy Story without any toys.
Number 2 with just 51 million, which was far below the predicted 70 million.
One kiss is all it takes. No problem, right? Well, not if you're in the latest Lightyear animation.
Marvel's quality also collapses. Disney's now locked most of the new MCU content behind a paywall. The Netflix shows also had this problem, but they were side content. You could watch the movies without watching them. But if you go to see the Marvels without seeing WandaVision and Miss Marvel, you're screwed. Fans try keeping up at first, but eventually it starts to feel like homework.
There's a sense that people say superhero fatigue. I actually think it's almost the feeling of having to do homework fatigue. These are all individual stories meant to be enjoyed as singular entities.
The Marvels becomes the lowest grossing film in MCU history. They continue to pump out cheap spin-off TV shows and movies like Eternals, which is basically like Avengers, but with a dozen characters no one's ever heard of, which only make the overarching story more confusing.
Not only will Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness connect directly to the events of WandaVision, but it will also connect to the events of our new Spider-Man film. Both Secret Invasion and Ironheart will tie directly to MCU feature films. So by now you should start getting a sense of the interconnectedness.
Disney even resorts to sucking itself dry. At some point they come to the conclusion that nothing is sacred, and start remaking their own animated classics. Lion King is remade with animals that fans of the original say are a touch too realistic. Then one day their morbid curiosity got the best of them, and they greenlight a remake of one of Walt Disney's favorites. Disney's first ever feature film, Snow White. The lead actress, Rachel Zegler, makes some controversial comments about the original.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince. A guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
3-year-old star of the film has made some comments that didn't go over well. Can you imagine a multi-billion-dollar company and all the shareholders being held hostage by the comments of a 23-year-old actress?
A 2-year-long back and forth ensues, culminating in a $400 million box office disaster.
Expectations for the film were significantly higher, and
2023 is the company's worst financial year in decades.
Well, thank you so much, and let's give another big round of applause to the...
Hi, Bob. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Alex.
Disney Plus loses millions of subscribers, and the parent company's stock crashes 50%.
That was almost $200 a share back when we thought Disney Plus was going to take over the world.
In response, Bob Iger reclaims the CEO title.
How you doing, guys? Great to see you again.
So, Kelly, superficially, this is really a failed relationship between two men.
He immediately gives the studios back their creative control and dives headfirst into cost cutting. The numbers speak for themselves. He cuts $7.5 billion in annual expenses, leading to over 8,000 job cuts, cancels multiple Lucasfilm projects, and scraps Marvel's current saga entirely, replacing it with a 5-hour-long live stream of some chairs, which I can only assume is an attempt to deceive audiences.
So Bob Iger has told people privately that the damage done from the Bob Chapek regime has been the main thing that he has tried to undo for the last 9 months or so that he's been on the job.
And by 2025, there's signs of stabilization. Marvel executive Kevin Feige publicly blames Disney for the recent failures, claiming they were forced to produce too much content. So he announces that after 2025, Marvel Studios will reduce their output to 2 films and 3 series per year. The only projects Lucasfilm has put out are Star Wars spin-off TV shows, and a recent re-release of the 3rd episode leaves fans hopeful for what's to come. There's also supposed to be a new trilogy starring Ryan Gosling. Fans remain doubtful anything will come from these changes.
They're actually trying to trick normies and casual fans into actually thinking that this is the next big Avengers event, okay?
So in my opinion, Bob Iger decided to leave when he saw it crashing and decided to set up this guy that ran the parks, Bob Chapek, which I call him Paycheck. He put him in there and then decides, okay, so he took all the blame for it. Now I can come, and since he was the scapegoat, and be the hero of Disney. Now, I know Opa has some very strong thoughts about this, so take it away, Opa.
Well, no, I think you know, what you have presented here is very valid, and I think Disney has been making a lot of mistakes recently. But the only thing I would say is I wouldn't put all of the blame on Iger. I mean, you already said that the Star Wars was really Kathleen Kennedy, which I agree with. I don't think Iger had anything to do with that. I think she's the one that messed it all up. I mean, and if you go by what you just presented, everything was going peachy keen, really, really good up to 2015. And then, all of a sudden they put Chapek in there. And Chapek is a guy who really didn't have any background in running a company. I don't understand why Iger, that I think is a mistake. I think Iger made that mistake.
Now, do you think he may have put him in that position because he saw the way that the company was going and said, this is an easy guy just to put in here so that it doesn't look like it was me?
Maybe, but I have to point out that Disney is a corporation, a company that's owned by stockholders and has a board of directors, and they are really the ones who are running the company per se. Because if the stockholders and the board of directors don't like what Iger's doing, they can get rid of him in a heartbeat and put somebody else in there. And a lot of times the CEO is influenced by the board of directors and the stockholders to do things. Now, they finally decided that Chapek was messing things up really bad, and decided, hey, we need somebody to replace him, but the guy who made us a ton of money, who got all of these companies like Pixar and Marvel and Lucasfilms, and made us really a ton of money, and made us, way up there as far as the stock market, made us stockholders and board of directors a lot of money. Let's try to bring him back, and let's let him try to clean things up. Well, it was quite a mess, and it's really, really difficult to fix things like that just like that. It takes time. And he started to do things to clean things up, just like you saw in the report that you just presented. He started to cut back on things. He started to change things. But I think part of the problem that he's had is as you listened, he returned creative control back to the different companies, Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilms. He let them make the decisions and run things the way they wanted to. And unfortunately, in this age of wokeness, a lot of those people thought, hey, let's do Snow White and
and F it up.
And F it up, yeah, basically.
So,
and it wasn't just them. I mean, they effed up Marvel, and they effed up Star Wars and, you know, what have you.
They just made a mess of everything, but it's not just Disney, it's Hollywood as a whole. I mean,
Correct.
Hollywood is going downhill, and they're all in their own bubble, and that's why there's so many movements to,
and that's
to
why
start
they're
here in Texas or in Arizona, or to branch off and do different things, because all these people are brainwashed.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the influence that's influencing Pixar, that's influencing Marvel, that's influencing Star Wars, that's influencing Disney as a whole. Now, the thing here too is that, you know, even with Iger taking over, let's go back to Chapek. He had a problem, okay? The problem was COVID. And the problem was, of course, they were going to start Disney Plus channel because we had Netflix and all these other guys, and Disney saw that that appeared to be something that they needed to get into. Otherwise, if they didn't, they would be way behind and everything would be a big problem for them. But with COVID, the problem was that people were not going to go to the movie theaters. And they had to figure out how to
entice people to get to the theater.
Yeah, or how to make the movies and do something with the movies so that people could still see them. So they came up with the idea of, okay, we're not going to put it in the movie theaters because nobody's going to come, or we will put it in the movie theaters, but only for a short time because you know, we don't want to leave it there for a long period of time and they don't make any money. So let's put it into the movie theaters for a little while and then bring it into Disney Plus and charge them $30. And then the whole family can watch it and what have you. To be realistic, I don't know what else they could have done to keep everything going, because people weren't going to the movie theaters, and also they had the writer's strike and the actor's strike, and all this stuff kind of just came together all at once and blew things up. So I don't know.
So R.I.P. Disney. No, I think there's a lot of history is repeating itself right now when you say the writer's strike, because when Walt Disney was alive, he had a strike, an animator strike, but the way that he bounced back was completely different than how they're trying to bounce back, but it's a whole different world. But I definitely think Walt Disney would be rolling in it, like he would be so upset. He would roll in his grave, but he was cremated. I know way too much about Walt Disney, but
yeah, well, I think you're right. I think it is a different time. And I think Walt Disney, even if he were alive, would have a really hard time with what's happening now. And it's not just Disney. I mean, you look at all the other studios and all the other movies and films and stuff. They're all embracing wokeness. They're all, you know, the inclusion and all this, that, and the other. And the problem with Disney is that they're trying to use their IP and do this, you know, do the inclusion, and so you end up with a black
Little Mermaid,
Tinkerbell, or Little Mermaid, or you know, the Snow White that's not white. And you know, what are you going to do with the dwarfs and not use real dwarfs in the live action movie? The first live action movies that they came out with were actually not bad, but they weren't woke either. And you know, and they did well in the box office. Now lately, and I want to say lately as in the last year, the stuff they've come out with have been pretty good and made pretty good money. So I don't know. I think we just need to give them a little bit of breathing room. I'm going to be curious to see who is going to replace Iger, because he is going to retire a second time, and they better find a guy.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Yep.
They need to listen to their fans, and as a deeply closeted Disney fan as of right now, that's how I have to say it. And don't hate me for this, guys, but I have always been a Disney fan. I don't like what they've been doing, and I cut them off once they started getting way too far. But I hope they start listening to their true fans and actually, you know, catering to them, which is what they used to do. So that was my whole point in this video. And I do want to give a big shout out to a channel called Sir W, which is where I got this video from. Go check him out on YouTube, Sir W, and go subscribe to his channel because he has amazing content. So that was my last clip on the downfall, and hopefully, you know, they'll come back up, of Disney. But it's time to laugh a little with volume 20, and please excuse my sense of humor. So check this out. Now, for those of y'all who watched the live, some of these are the same, but I added a lot more and fixed them, so.
Watch that lady. Watch her. See? See? It's like they're collecting it for something.
What do you think they're doing with it?
I think they're using it to make chocolate. Oh. Have you ever had a piece of chocolate?
No.
Exactly.
He must be homeschooled, because if he went to school like that...
Like 8, I can't remember if it's 9 or 8, 5, 8 or 9, 2. Wait, my flight's delayed. Great, my flight's delayed. Now I might just take my head and shove it inside a microwave, but I can't even lie and lay beside my gate and try and nap, because I just drank my entire weight in coffee and I'm wide awake. I should take a live grenade and shove it inside my bag. I gotta chill, man.
Exactly. Actually, I did, whenever you do a film like this where you fight Satan or the devil, you have to prepare yourself the right way. And so I did research in satanic kind of cults and stuff like that. You know, as a matter of fact, in Los Angeles right now, there's like 50,000 devil worshippers. And that's not even including, that's not even including the agents.
Yeah.
But let me
Our crowd was too busy cheering satanic worship to hear the joke.
Exactly.
Step and I'll curse you with black cat magic. Ah! Fire burn and cauldron bubble. Bring me a cat treat on the double. Eye of newt and toe of frog. Do it now or become a dog!
Hey guys. Oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.
I'm not fat. I'm just a few meals ahead and a few shits behind. Y'all always assuming that a bitch big. Wrong.
Could you imagine getting on stage and doing this and people are cheering? I mean, that's amazing.
Hello!
we sell out Truth or Con, I'll do that.
And I know I shouldn't.
Luke, I'm African American. The original Darth Vader recording sounded like this.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Start tearing this ship apart piece by piece until you find those tapes. Find the passengers of this vessel.
Auf der einen blüht ein kleines Blümchen. Und das heißt...
What the hell do you mean a Peter Pan peanut butter alert?
This one's for you, Mike.
What's going on here?
Michael cracks him.
Window with the sound of a crescendo. Came in her apartment with the best things on the carpet.
Kind of looks like
She
Oprah,
was under
too.
the table. You could see she wasn't able. Then she ran into the bedroom. She was sucked on. It was her doom.
Unbelievable Animals You've Never Heard Of, Part 6. This is the Himalayan fur goblin, and it's one of the planet's deadliest animals. This creature is a mind-altering parasite and uses gullible people to carry out its life cycle. Once the fur goblin invades a home, it brainwashes the people living there into thinking they adopted it as a pet.
My mom would love this
Now Candy Tails is for boys too. Check out those candy dreads. Wow!
Baby jamming with me candy toss. You hear me, man?
So I hope you guys enjoyed my sick sense of humor. Yeah, I hope you got some memes from me, Jake, so meme me up. Meme me up.
Hey Jeremiah, this one's for you. This guy just barely saved the life of a cat. This meme was hilarious. POV, you're reading Proverbs and start to realize you have a lot in common with this fool that keeps getting mentioned. Oh man. Time to get some wisdom, boys.
Thanks, Jake, for another great current news and memes as always. Opa, thank you for another great Opa's Corner, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode as a whole. Stay awake, not woke, subscribe, and stay tuned. If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe, and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Son of the legendary Ross Jeremiah Skiba.
It's like they don't even want to wake up.